Good morning. This is Sue Scheets from Stampin' with Sushi. This is Wednesday. What is it Wednesday? So today what I'm going to do is share with you some ways that you can use vellum. And I'm not sure that everybody knows exactly how to use it. So hopefully you can get an idea that you like from my presentation today. Let's change the camera and get started. Okay, so I thought I would show you where vellum is in the catalog. This is the annual catalog, and it's on the page that shows paper basics. It's called Vellum Cardstock. It is translucent. It comes with 20 sheets, and they're 8.5 by 11, acid-free, linguine-free, and this is what a sheet of vellum looks like right here. So, are you ready to see what the ideas that I came up with that you can use? What I'm going to do is show you what I did with the vellum and then put it on a card so you can see how to use it on a card. So one of the uses for vellum is to use it as a background on a card. So let me put this card together, get my sheet here in case my seal doesn't start. If you haven't seen my videos before, if your Stampin' Seal won't start right away, you just take it on your silicone mat and it pulls the glue right up so you're ready to go. And if any time when you're gluing your piece, it stops coming forth, all you do is put it on the mat again. So I've got the basic for my card, and what I've got here is a small piece of vellum, and I'm using it as the background for all the other things I'm going to put on the card. So vellum kind of mutes what you've got on your background. If I put it here, it kind of dulls it a little bit. It especially looks good on bright colors. Now, how do you attach your vellum so nothing shows? So what I usually use is glue dots, and I might as well use these glue dots that come in the paper pumpkin kit. You get gobs of them, and it's not always the favorite way to use a glue dot, but I can show you. So if you take like a sharp, take your pick tool is perfect for this, and so you take it off and you put one in each corner. Oops, let me get it up here where you can see. You're going to put one of these dots in each corner of your vellum piece. Well, this one doesn't want to leave my scissors. There we go. Three, 4. And then just take the backing off. That's to me the hardest part with these glue dots. And my take your pick tool is not where it's supposed to be. And that is the easiest way to get these off. But also a thin blade on your scissors will help. So then I'll put it on my paper. And it shows, get that one out of there. It shows a little bit in the corners, but it's not bad. Now this I'm then going to put on my card base. Stick it over here in the corner. And then I've fussy cut this little, I don't know, gentleman snail from the designer paper. And I'm going to put some glue dots on the back. Glue dots I'm sorry, these are dimensionals, aren't they? Dimensionals are something that I really use, and I'm trying to figure out on my desk here where I do my table where I do my videos. Hi, Dawn. Do you have a new address, Dawn? I have something to send you, but I don't know if you have a new address. If you do, could you message me your new address? All right, so I'm going to put my little Mr. Snail right here. And then I also fussy cut some of these other pieces that were in the designer paper. And I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back. And just, see, I can cover where those glue dots are with some of these. And I'm just going to scatter them around. It's sort of like the mail slipped out of his mail bag and is just floating all over the place. That's my picture of it. So you can see vellum can be used just as the backing of your design on your card. Have you guys, I know these little lift-offs from the dimensionals are staticky, and have you ever found them anywhere all over your house, like in most unlikely places like the kitchen? Well, I have to wear a compression garment on my leg, and one day I was taking off my compression garment because I don't have to wear it at night, and there was one of these inside the garment. How did that happen? Okay, so this is one way. So you can take your vellum and use it as a background on your card. All right, so the next way that I'm going to use it is a couple of ways on this card, where you can put it now on top of part of your card, and you can also use it as an accent piece. So I have a piece of designer paper here. This is from that beautiful, elegant designer paper. I don't remember the name of it. Isn't that awful? Well, it's retiring, but it's stunning paper. And this is on the reverse side from the flowers. There's a video you can see on YouTube that Stampin'Up produced that shows you how the artist created the paper, and it's fascinating to watch. So what I have done is I've cut these flowers out of the paper. I love to fussy cut, and I thought I liked the actual, see, it's not coming. Yeah, Robin said in the dryer, in the bed, and in the bathroom. Oh, yes. And then, of course, if I think I've picked them all up, my husband, who's a very meticulous person, finds them. Finds one that I missed. It's inevitable. Okay, so I'm going to pop this last flower up. But rather than punch around here, I did try that, and I didn't like the look. I liked seeing the actual flower. So, and I don't know if there's a die that goes along with it, but all I purchased was the paper. But anyway, it was fun to cut out. Okay, so there's my basic design. And what I have done is I've taken a piece of vellum, and I have, let me see if I can match this. I have cut it the same, no, that's not it. Well, believe it or not, it did match. Maybe it matched a different one. I bet it did. Well, we're not going to worry if it matches perfectly, but I think I need to switch. This is kind of the process my brain goes through when I'm creating a card too. So, it's like, did you like it here? No. So you try it again. You try it in a different spot. You like it better there. So this one I'm going to put on top, and this one matches. See, vellum, there's no right or wrong side. There we go. See the match? So this is another way that you can use your vellum, is putting it on top of something as an accent. And it kind of creates a mist over your what you're doing. And I'm just going to put a little bit of tape in the middle, and it's kind of lost in the design of the flower. The other thing you can do with vellum is punch it out with your punch and then use it as little accents on your card. And I used the vellum, and then I used the green that I used for my card base. And it's very subtle, but it gives you another additional fun look on your card. I'll probably put some kind of a jewel right here in the middle. But that's showing you how the vellum can go on top rather than underneath what you're stamping, and also that you can use it as an accent. That's idea number 2. Idea number 3 is to cut it out with a die. So I used a punch on there, but on this card, I'll put my designer paper down really fast here. I love using designer paper as a background. It's fast, it's easy, and it just adds a touch of glamour to a card. All right, I also cut one of these lovely hydrangeas out of the designer paper, because once again, I just did the paper. I didn't do any kind of a die. I don't even know if one cuts them out, but I loved the paper. Okay, so there's my hydrangea. So what I have done now with the vellum, hi Diane, thank you, is I've actually die cut a couple of the lovely butterflies that came in the Butterfly Brilliance set. And then I also have one that I cut in white. So I would just put a glue dot or a little bit of glue in the center. Put one on the flower. Put a white one maybe up here. And another one over here. So there you go. So you can see how you can use your vellum to cut out an accent, and it's a very light, subtle way to show it. All right, the next one is so fast and easy and very stunning. So on this card, I embossed the vellum with an embossing folder, and this is the one that does the dandelions. And when you emboss it, it turns your image that you're embossing white. Isn't that gorgeous? And then I turned it over and used a blend just to color in the stem. So that's the only color. But for my background, I used this piece from the hydrangea paper, and then I'll put it on a white card, which emphasizes the white of the embossing. Now, I think for this one, I'm just going to put my glue on the back of each one of these white dandelions. And that will keep them on the designer paper, but yet you don't see anything. And then I'm going to take the designer paper and put it on my card base. Isn't that a fun one? And so easy. It'd be fun to just take every embossing folder that you have and, try this with it. I mean, and you can even take another little accent if you want, like a little white butterfly or whatever. But I think even this basic card is enough. Now, all these cards could have sayings added, but that wasn't my point here. Okay, so now the next technique you can do is you can very easily emboss on vellum. And I have stamped my image in Versamark, and then I have used white embossing powder, and then I cut it out with one of the rectangular shapes, and it really shows up. And then I turned it over and colored on the back. Hi, Judith. And so this is what I've got two more, so I could kind of show you how I colored it. But when you place your vellum on white cardstock, then your coloring shows up. It also can be called the stained glass technique because it does kind of give the look of stained glass. So here is how I would color. And for this one, I think I'll use light colors. So I have my light old olive blend, and it's brand new. I used up one already. Can you believe it's one of my favorite colors? So you don't have to do petal by petal or anything like that. You can just quickly color it in. Can you see? Yes. Let me move it down a little bit more. I haven't figured out how to use two devices at the same time, so I'm just using my phone. So I have to look every now and then and make sure everything is in its place. Okay, then I'm going to take dark old olive. This must be the dark old olive. Yep. And just do a little bit of accents. I mean, I know nothing about watercoloring, but I usually like my end results, so that's the most important part, isn't it? I do know that, highlighting one edge is good for watercoloring. Okay, and then I'm going to just add a little bit of this purple because I've seen cards where they add purple to the cactus, and oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It's a beautiful color to coordinate with green. And if you really want to, then you can take a light color and blend all these together. But look at what it looks like when I turn it over and put it on the white cardstock. You just see a little bit of a hint of the dark green and the pink. And this I made all pink, and this is all green. So once again, I'm going to just put my adhesive behind the colored images. And there's enough of them that the vellum is going to stay on the designer paper. All right, so I'm putting it on my white. I have this problem of getting what I'm stamping straight. And then I'm going to put it on this Mossy Meadow, one of my favorite colors. I love greens. And Mossy Meadow is one of the colors that is in, I think I'm using the colors from the hydrangea set. And then my base is going to be Blackberry Bliss. I love these three color combinations together. Okay, so for this card then, you can emboss on vellum, flip it over, and color on the back, and it gives you a nice, subtle look. And now for the last example that I'm going to show you this morning. This is the most stunning one, I think. So you need something soft, so I use my paper piercing mat. And I've embossed on black, and then you flip it over, and you take, I had it all set out here. Dang, blasted. Sorry about that. And you take a tool. This is the tool that I use on my scoreboard, and you just rub the tool in the clear spaces in between your embossing. Now, I did go ahead and color the leaves green because I wanted a little bit of color on this. And first I use the small end, and then once I've done it in the small end, then I turn it over and do it in the large end. Now, you do have to be careful not to put forth too much elbow grease because you can then tear your vellum. And I tend to be pretty rough on things. All right, so. And if you go over some of the black in the flower petals, that's okay too. But your main purpose is to burnish in the white spaces. And then look, when you turn it over, they're white. And it especially shows up if you put it on black. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? I don't know if you guys can even see the white the way I can see it. But where did I learn this? I can't remember where I learned this technique. Probably from a video I was watching. But to me, it is so stunning. So it might be my favorite technique to use with vellum. The trick is to find a stamp set that has open areas in it. So the cactus would work, but I just thought there were too many of them to score in. But this definitely works. I think the poppy set would work. And then I'm going to mount this on white to bring out the white of the flowers. They are a little bit three-dimensional, Diane, because you're actually pushing your vellum a little, and you could push it even more to make it even more dimensional, but especially like these few, you can see the dimension on them. Get some glue on here. So when you're deciding the colors of your cards, one of the things to look at is your design or your designer paper. And when I was trying to decide, I put white behind there and it didn't show off. But when I put the black behind there, it really showed off the contrast. And then I wanted another piece of paper on my card that would make the white stand out. And then for my base, I chose gray because with the vellum over the black, it sort of looks gray. So I hope I've given you some ideas, and I know I haven't begun to touch on all the things you can do with vellum, but these might be ones that you hadn't thought of before, because before I researched what I wanted to show on my video, a couple of them I never had thought of before. I never thought of this one. Okay, so this is embossing, turning it over, and taking some kind of a scoring tool with a rounded end and rubbing where the open spaces are to make them turn white. This technique was to emboss, turn it over, and color with markers or blends or give it some color somehow. This technique was just to take your embossing folder and put it through the machine with your vellum and, you know, get a different design that way. This technique was to actually use a die to cut these out. And this technique, I didn't finish gluing my leaves and stuff. I am going to put a gold or yellow embellishment in the middle here. That is to put your vellum on top of something to kind of mute the color a little bit. And then this technique was just to use it over your background. So I hope you've enjoyed watching and you're anxious to try one of these techniques, and post it and let me know you know, how it worked for you. Tomorrow is Step It Up Thursday, so I will take Monday's card and step it up. And this week this month, I am featuring the snail mail suite. So you can look to see a way that I have stepped up the card that I did on Monday. If you order this month, then please use the April Hostess code, which is right there. And then don't forget to visit my blog or my website. You can order on my website. And thank you so much for watching today. And have a great rest of your day. And I will see you later. Bye-bye.